through its Nationhood and National Pride (NNP) program urges all Namibians to observe and celebrate our rich heritage. Namibian Heritage Week started on Monday and will end on Saturday. The Heritage Week team's role is to facilitate the success of the week by providing support to organizations and individuals who host or participate in events during the week through logistical support and marketing. Joining us now with more information on this is Shasimana Uhulu, the Chief Information Officer of Campaigns, and Mauritian Leopard, who is the Acting Senior Information Officer of Campaigns. Ladies, gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Thank you for having us and good evening.
You guys look amazing. I think I didn't get the memo.
It's like that.
Okay, has it been a long day?
It has been a long day, yes. It has been a long day filled with heritage activities where we had to engage and create awareness about the significance of this week, and we had a few interviews where it's an ongoing effort where we have to remind our people of times like this, where we take a whole week to reflect and appreciate the cultural and natural cultures of our country. So since when we opened our eyes this morning until probably the time we go to bed, we are proud to be here. We are proud to celebrate this week with our stakeholders and Namibia as a whole. And there's no other place or no other week I would want to be a part of than such a week where we celebrate what's ours.
And all right. Now, Shasimana, let's hear from you. When we speak of heritage, what exactly are we talking about? And perhaps what's Namibia's collective heritage?
You know, when we are talking about heritage, these are the things that, this is the foundation of us as Namibians. These are things that we need to celebrate, that we need to sit down and think, where are we coming from? What is our foundation? How have been our forefathers cooking their food? How are their dances? How have they been dressing? And what are their artifacts? Things that we need to preserve, whether in our museums, things that we need to teach our kids so that we pass them to the next generation. These are things that we need to celebrate at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's good that with the Heritage Week now, you see a lot of Namibians joining hands really to say, it doesn't matter whether this cultural attire belongs to Oshuambo community, to a Damara community, to a Shirero community. We are all Namibians, and these attires belongs to all of us. So don't be surprised when you see somebody is wearing an Oshuambo dress, and then you go there, start greeting them in Oshuambo, and the person responds to you in a Shirero. It's because we have come to appreciate each other's cultures, and it's only through cultural exchange that we tend to respect who we are as people, respect each other's cultures, understand each other's cultures, understand how we greet, how we dance, and how we cook our food. So really, this week, we want our people to do those type of cultural exchanges among themselves. If you haven't eaten pap or ikoko or the Zambezi bream, the famous Zambezi bream, this is the right time. Go out to the markets, experience each other's cultures, greet each other's in. You know, if you greet me in Oshirero, for example, in Oshuambo, I'll be happy. And you are from another community to say, oh, so you know how we greet. Because all these greetings belong to all of us as Namibians. These are our common heritage. This is what we are inheriting from our forefathers, and we can't run away from this.
All right.
Yes.
Now, Mauritian, how do you think we can incorporate our culture and heritage in each and every day of our living lives?
You know, culture and heritage, when you look at it in a broad spectrum, it should actually start at homes. You know, this is something that when you give birth to your little boy or your little girl, this is something that as a proud Namibian, if you have to call yourself a proud Namibian, you have to instill it from, probably not from the moment that they are born, but from the age of 3, you know, or 4, when they start to be able to communicate. That's when you, in a house, should take it upon yourself. You know, you should try and raise your child for the world, but then also instill that cultural knowledge of where we originate from, how things are done according to our different cultures, because at the end of the day, we only have one Namibia, and we only have a set of cultures that is of the origin of Namibia. And if the world looks into Namibia, we are the only ones that can speak stories of our culture, our tradition.
Yeah.
So as parents, they should start at home, where we teach our little ones and not expect it solely to be done so in the streets or at schools. So it starts at home, where you slowly prepare them, you slowly train them, and then when they are ready for school, of course, with the knowledge that they have, it's an addition. And if you as a parent also practice it and not just speak about it, then kids absorb things and take in things. And if we are proud of our national flags, and if we are proud of our national anthem, and when we sing our national anthems, this is how you observe, or this is how you take note when a national anthem is sung. It should start from home, where we don't entirely just rely on the next person to teach our kids. Yes. Yes.
All right. Now, why is it important in our society? Why is heritage important in our society, and how can we safeguard it?
You know, the pure, I'm not sure whether you know what is a demo. You know,
I
to cultivate mahangu,
I do.
it's good that you know. Now, it's important that we preserve that knowledge of how to cultivate mahangu. It's important to preserve that knowledge of how to milk a cow, for example. That is important to preserve that knowledge of how to grow mahangu, how to cook pap, how to cook ikoko if you are from Zambezi region, all these things. Now, without this knowledge, if this knowledge gets lost, it means our children will grow up eating food from fast food. They will be going to KFC, they don't know how to cook our food, and they will think everything comes from the shop. So through cultural preservance, it means we are preserving our indigenous knowledge, we are passing it on to the next generation, they will keep respecting it, and they will also pass it on to their children.
All right.
So that is why it's important that we continue celebrating our heritage and passing on the knowledge to the future generation.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Mauritian, do you think the culture is being lost, especially in our young generation?
I would say it is being lost, and at a very fast pace. In fact, you know, we as the youth of Namibia, or should we say, we are very time is moving, time is changing. You know, at some point things have to move, and you have to adopt to the modern way of doing things. The modern technology, for instance, is changing, and our young people are very gullible to a point where one can sense that moving on with the changes is more important than knowing where you come from. But for instance, what I was saying also to Shasimana earlier is our lives are like a tree that needs to be rooted. You know, when thunder and storms come, if you are not firmly rooted, you will run away or you'll be blown to the ground. But you need to have some sort of hold and not forget where you come from, because there has to be a start. You cannot just be blown away or you know, somehow be easily gullible to take in what the latest trends are without understanding it. I feel that knowledge is power, and if you have to stand out or stand up for yourself as a person, you need to be rooted and understand where you come from. That's my take, and I feel that somehow it's being lost, and somehow I feel that weeks like Heritage Week should, or it's important that people are intentional about making it a week-long event, so that it's in people's places, so that we have that sense of coming back, you know, and understanding and celebrating, and also being intentional about going out, understanding the next person. Even if I'm, for instance, I'm Mara speaking, and I have a colleague that is Oshibambo speaking, I should be intentional to make it a point that week, because if you're not intentional, if you're not in people's faces about these things, it's never gonna be a thing where we somehow get rooted. And I think young people need that, not necessarily with a leash, but you need to constantly remind them, and that's how you get them back to understanding that this is very important as a country, and as people that are going to be leaders of our future generation. Yes.
All right. Now, this year's theme is unity in diversity. Kindly expand on this.
Unity in diversity means coming together as Namibians and saying all these aspects that define us, whether it's our attires, whether it's our food, whether it's our dances, these are our common heritage. There is no any other society, but only the people that live within the geographical area of Namibia that wear the way we wear, that eat the kind of food that we eat. That defines us. That is our heritage. That is our foundation. A nation without a strong foundation, you know, you do not know where you are going if you do not know where you are coming from.
True.
So that defines us who we are, and we need to preserve it.
Okay. Before I let you guys, so any final remarks?
We still have the celebrations going on until end of Saturday.
Okay.
So if you haven't maybe heard about Namibian Cultural Week, I really call upon all Namibians, whether you're in the north, east, south, west, to just remind yourself and to do small efforts to just pay tribute to our country, because this is where you learn not only about yourself and your immediate surroundings, but of other cultures. And it's so beautiful when you go from maybe someone from Uist to a place maybe in Oshakati, where you attend a funeral or an event or a wedding of some sort, and the person can clearly see that you're not from there. Maybe I show up now at a wedding in the north with my Nama dress, and I greet someone from the north, Shivambo. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful icebreaker where immediately the person somehow is like, oh wow, so this Nama lady actually makes effort since she's in our region to speak my language and to somehow interact with me, and that's a beautiful icebreaker where you make someone comfortable to connect with you. Moving on.
Okay.
So that is something that should be encouraged. After all, we're a family, you know, as Namibians.
Right, Jesse?
Yes, we, especially young people, we should continue celebrating our heritage, our tradition and our cultures. But that celebration must be inspired by that sense of nationhood and national pride. We should not be celebrating a tribal pride. For example, you see young people now, they are wearing, I'm a proud Donga t-shirt, I'm a proud Kwaita, I'm a proud Kwanyama. We should reject this. We should be able to embrace the Namibianness, that we are Namibian first before anything else. So I urge all Namibians, especially public servants, we still have tomorrow to celebrate this day and wear our cultural attires. So we urge them to come out in numbers, especially tomorrow, and wear their cultural attires.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Shasi, Marishan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Thank you for having us.
Right, that was Shasimana Uhuru and Marishan Lampert from the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology talking to us about Heritage Week and its importance. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back shortly after this break.